Hey guys, it's Ross, and people have been telling me in the Philadelphia area that I know, just my friends that also grow tomatoes, have been telling me that they are out of tomatoes, and the season's over. They're upset. they they just missed tomato season, and I'm like, tomato season's not over. What are you guys talking about? They bear for me all year, pretty much all summer and all fall. You can see down here, today's October 15th. We have 15 days before frost. This is what I'm dealing with here. I can't eat all these. This is really from really only 5 plants that are in this location. This is 6 varieties here. We've got Black Prince. This is Pink Brandywine, I believe. We have Mortgage Lifter, Striped German. This is the very first and the only, what's the name of this tomato? The Berkeley Tie-Dye. And we also have Green Zebra, which is an absolute favorite of mine. So we're getting these, and there's more on the vines too. And it's mainly from this area. I have many tomato plants, but really only the tomato plants in this location did well this year, for many reasons. But you can see we're still pretty much loaded, and these should ripen up before the frost. I mean, we are getting pretty cold here. Here's some Black Prince down here, a little smaller. We also have, Pink Brandywine. 2 of them looked like they cracked in the storm last night. And here's Green Zebra. You can see that there. But I attribute this, to essentially a couple things. One, we're growing them vertically. There really is a lot of disease prevention benefits to this. It's very obvious. Growing them as single stem plants and then pruning them as you go up. So as each cluster of fruits will fruit for you and ripen, you then prune everything below that. And then when this truss of tomatoes is done, you then go up to the next truss of tomatoes and prune everything below that. And you just keep going up and up the plants. At a certain point, I just let them go because I couldn't tie them any taller. And I let them branch out from there. Try to get as many excess fruits off of this small location. This is only really a 3x3 space. 9 plants are in here. And just to try to get as many excess tomatoes at this point in the year, like these guys here, that's what we did. And we also went to the next length of when these guys fruited, and it looked like this was just going to be it for the year, and that was it. I came in here and pruned off all the excess growth. Any weird shoots, like kind of like this one here, that really just serves almost no purpose. It's flowering here, but that's not gonna fruit for me. So I could cut this out. This is just, it's not really doing a whole lot of harm, but any airflow and disease prevention measures I can take earlier in the season is great, but also now, because it's a very rainy fall that we have here in Pennsylvania. September 15th and onwards is very rainy. And it's very important to keep these plants in check. Otherwise, you're not going to get the results that I have in Pennsylvania. You're just not going to do it, or a similar climate, guys. I am in zone 7. We do get quite warm here in the wintertime, or in the summertime. The other reason these plants have been doing so well is the location. 100% attributed a lot of it to their location. This is a very warm microclimate that they're in. I could take soil samples, test the soil here, take temperature readings of the whole area. It's just a really nice microclimate with the house, the southern exposure, constant sunlight beating on the house, releasing that heat at night. It's really, really great for these tomato plants, guys. But there is a point in time, because I have been getting these tomatoes from July, like the end of July, guys. At least that was the start of the beefsteak types. until let's see, until now. But there was a point somewhere in there that I wasn't getting anything in terms of my larger tomatoes. And the reason for that is because actually it was too warm. These flower clusters, they didn't set fruit because it was too hot. And I think if temperatures get over 90 to 95, they just won't set fruit. So if you look at all these plants and you go back and kind of study them, look at the stems, and observe, okay, here's a truss of tomatoes, here's another truss of tomatoes, and you keep going upwards. About the fourth or fifth truss on every single vine didn't fruit, and the plant kind of skipped over that truss. And I think it has just simply because there was a lot of heat at that time when that truss had formed. So we kind of skipped over that. The temperatures cooled back down, and we went on to the next truss, and that's kind of what you're looking at now. About the 7th or 8th or 6th to 8th truss is what you're looking at now of tomatoes off of each of these plants, which is really cool. So that's the video, guys. I wanted to really just explain to a lot of people that this was possible without having a lot of space, without planting them in succession. I think that's what a lot of people do, is they'll plant them in May, and then they'll come back in here in about mid-June or July 1st, in this area at least, and they'll plant them again. And then that way they'll have a successive crop, and they'll have tomatoes at this point in the season. But for me, it's not necessary, and I think this is just a better way. Less space, less work, more reward. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I have certainly been in tomato heaven all year, and I planted about 12 varieties of tomatoes this year, and we're going to reduce that number drastically. I only need about 9 plants to be happy, I think. So pretty cool. And the rest of this, because to make use of this amazing microclimate, we'll plant more peppers and eggplants. We'll put in a lot of heat-loving things in this area, whereas a lot of this stuff that's even here was cool-loving stuff. Here's carrots that we should harvest, and fennel. But yeah, this will be the heat-loving bed, guys. Anyway, take care, guys, and hope you learned something. I'll see you all for the next one. You guys can follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter now. So if you're on any of those forms of social media, give me a follow. It's the same name as my YouTube channel, @RossRaddy. And I'll see you guys there. Take care.